We're going to have to see if the audio works before I get started, because I keep messing this up. Come on. I think we're good. So tonight I'm just going to be recording some building that I'm doing, so that folks can see how I do it, I guess. I've already got a map. I've got a lot of I've got the journals done. We are in here. I'll start with room 1. Let's pop this out a little bit so it's a little bigger. Yeah. So the first thing we've got is 4 frost giants. So I'm trying to set this up to where if I decide to run it as 2E, I will have the stuff there already. But I think I'm going to stick to the 1E giants instead. So let's see. I'll probably need to set some. Go ahead and give it a decent image. Probably don't have one from the module, do we? See any frost giants? I think there was anything in there. Maybe I'll just use the 2E version of them. Yeah, there's not any. Cool looking giants. I guess I could use that, but that's not what that is. So 2E. And no. There we go. Let's do that. Set all these to the same. I have to set the tokens. Did I get this guy? Okay, they all now have tokens the way they should. And let's see. I mean, seriously, that seems awfully small. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna make them bigger. 2x2s. Let's do that for all of them. Except for maybe the young ones. see what this looks like. Much better. There we go. This be 4 in here. So we'll do that. Try not to miss any chats, but all right. So that one is done, and I can remove this. Originally, I was going to have it to where you drag and drop the encounter into there, but I don't like that because of other issues. I need to load them up with all the gear. And this way I can just put the things on the individual tokens. And I don't, there are 4 piles of huts and there's rocks. Their treasure. Okay, so they don't have anything special. Also, if we don't futz with these guys, actually, let's change something else on them. We're going to set the ADS to giant as well, so that if somebody doesn't use identification, it will show up to the players as giant only. And what kind of actions does it have? I've switched to having the tabs on the side, so I could split some things apart. Like in the combat section now, it's just skills and actions and weapons. He doesn't have any weapons, but he has these 2 attacks. And then I move spells to another tab. He doesn't have spells, so it doesn't show up. Effects are now here instead of above the details section. Here's the equipment, proficiencies, details, and much more room here. This is the description. Oh, well, we need to fix that. Change that. Person. There we go. All right. We got that. And I don't know why that's actually there, to be honest. Let's get rid of it. Makes no sense. Probably have that in the other ones. I think my data got a little wonky when I pulled this in. So the reason I'm getting these guys pretty set is because I want them, they're all going to be the same unless I change them locally. So like now these guys should be fixed too, see? But if I change his description or something, this guy would now have a specific description. That's the way Foundry's stuff works. So let's see. They've got attacks set up. Their damage is 46. Guessing that's from a specific weapon. What's their description say? They can hurl rocks for 2 to 10. Doesn't say how much damage. Oh, that's a frost giant axe does 2d8 plus 9. I don't remember what the first edition giant did. I want to keep the first edition giants the way they were so that, you know, if somebody runs this, you know, if I run this as first edition, I don't murder them because the 2E guys are a lot tougher. So I'm going to go peek and see what the original monster manual says for frost giants. If it says 44, that's what we'll go with. Frost giant damage 4 to 24. That's it. So we'll change this to, we'll just leave it to that. And they also don't get strength bonuses to hits. But they get the damage. So actually, it just says 4 to 24. It doesn't say they get anything from strength. I guess it presumes it got enough to hit from their matrix / stacko. So we'll leave it like that. I like that. That makes it easy. Alright. So we got our giants. I'm not going to set their individual hit points because it rolls them and it's close enough for me. Alright, that's one. Number 2 is over here. He gets 3 frost giants. One here. Also says there are 4 piles of sleeping skins. Under the 3rd pile of skin is a silver belt worth. Okay, so we got treasure. So what I'm going to do is, actually what we should do is go change those items to where they have icons before I do all this. This is going to be boring. Game looks like, but we'll say it's that. And a jug. Lovely. I don't know if I need these. But I don't need that either. You know what? Forget it. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to open this. And then we're going to create. We have containers. So what I want to do is put a loose valuable thing here. Change this to a piece of equipment for the neck. What is it? It just says jeweled chain. That'll work. No, that'll work. And this one is a belt. We need equipment waste. Is it silver? So it's sleeping skins. So, and then we want to hide actually, when we get done, we're just going to mass select all tokens and set them to hidden, and do this because they may not actually be there. I might change my mind and not spawn them. But they'll be there. That way I can just right click and hit that back and turn them on. So we've done these. Did we clear that out? Yeah. Our next room is number 3, which is a trap. I want to change this icon to a trap. And then it is a collapsed ceiling trap. And I use NPCs as traps. Let you... What we need to do is find the trap again. There we go. Token the same. So now we've got the guy. The ceiling trap get food. So yeah, we're going to have to change that color because I cannot see that. We can change the it's tint color like an orange. That's going to be the prototype. Now we're going to change this one. There it is. There we go. Now they can sit. So we've got the room. And it kind of, maybe that's not a good idea having them both the same style, same thing, because they may get confused. So I'm going to change this back to something else. Let's just make it swords. People don't get confused. So they'll see that. This will be hidden. DM can click on it and then use the ceiling collapse up from it on there. All right. So that one's done. There, just in case somebody, I don't know. I guess trap makes sense to me. Number 4 is wolves. I probably... found some of those guys. Winter wolf. There, this is these suckers. So we need to set... Oh my lord, I'm never going to find anything here. I think there's any wolves in there, but we can do this. Nope. It's for all of them. So what we need is winter wolves. And we have 2 adults. Cubs. 3 cubs. Make the cubs smaller. think we're going to have any really amazing. There's not going to be any casters. There's not going to be anything interesting building, which is unfortunate. So number 5. This one is going to be nothing but treasure. And you've got several different guys. So you could, what we can do is we need 1 container. And we want 8 of them. Let's get I guess I could use a statue. Isn't there a statue? It's not exactly what I wanted, but and change this to and neutral. Five, 6, 7, 8. So we got the statues, and now we'll just start with 1 and go all the way to the left. This guy's gonna be our statue. Players won't see that. We will. Crap. So we're gonna have to edit the token so we can set the name. That way we can see that. This guy is going to be number 2. Copy that, put it in the token. Free human. This is going to be human 4. Copy and paste them. This another human. Is human. So we do all that so we can put items on each one of them. Normally you'd only have like 1 or 2 lootable things in the room, and so it's not that difficult. But these are eye statues, and we want them to be kind of cool. So we'll start with this guy. He gets a battle axe +1. So more than likely, I'm going to use the ones that I already have. From the 2E DMG. And it's a weapon. And it's a battle axe +2, yeah? Nope, 1. He gets 1. Boom, it's there. The next one is number 2. What does he get? Wand of Frost. See if Wand of Frost is all done. I store. Checking to make sure all the charges are. So when I'm looking at here is, so there are source charges, and then there are just use charges. Most of the time you can get away with just using use charges, but a Wand of Frost, it has a set amount of charges, but some of its powers use more than 1. So what you have to do is you have to source the thing. So in this case, by default, they have 100 charges. No reuse, use is none. And then when we go to here and you look at the action, we'll go to the cast, and you can see it's powered by a powered item. So since this is not an inventory, it's going to show no inventory, but it'll default to itself if there's nothing set the very first time. If for whatever reason it doesn't, this just needs to be set to the wand. This will have a drop down where it says no inventory found. This, when it's on a person, it'll have a list of whatever's on that person or NPC. So yeah, so that's how you have powered charges, so that whenever I use this guy, it uses 1 charge, and then this guy, what is? It doesn't say he uses any charges, which I know it does. So let's check all of these. Let's read the description. Ice Storm, this function requires 1 charge. Where did I put all those? So we can open up all of these. Top to bottom. Ice Storm, Cone of Cold, Wall of Ice. Ice Storm, costs 1 charge. Wall of Ice uses 1 charge. And Cone of Cold. Does it say? Oh, 2 charges. Okay, yep. So we're good. All these are good now. I thought maybe I messed up. But, yeah, that was missing, so. Collapse these down. So that thing is good. So now when I give it to this guy, on a Frost, it'll be the same. So items are not like NPCs. So like the way I was dragging an NPC over here, and it remembers, you know, its source. Once you put an item on a person or an actor, it's now that actor only. It's not connected to anything. So you can see now all this is there. So even though this is a lootable, the players won't see this action section. You can. And you can do this so that you can give a treasure chest some actions. So like if it's a booby-trapped chest that blows up in their face, you can do something like that. So you can put these actions here. But right now, since it has an item that has actions, it'll show up here. Not that you would use them, but it's going to show up for that reason. It's just the players will only see the equipment. You're the only one that'll see that. And then number 3, a jeweled belt. Yeah, it's there. So 7,000. Why does I want one that just has something already set. We'll give him this one. Oops. And I can't type for squat. We'll give him this one. And then we'll go change the value. So I don't need that. That's mostly there for me, but this 7. Now he has 7,000 gold piece of jewelry. And then this guy, number 4, scroll of protection from elements. There. Five has 37 gems of Tinkle please value. And then 6 has fire resistance. Pretty sure I've got those set up right. Per dice. The 4 versus any saves versus fire. What does it actually the description say? Normal fire. Yeah, they're not immune or resist. They just take less. There's not like a half damage thing. 300 gold. 3,000. 4,000 gold piece gems. And a cleric scroll with 1 cure serious on the inside of the silver tube. So what you're wanting is a silver tube. It's worth 300 gold. The name. And then change it. I don't know where there's anything that looks like a tube. So I can just look for maybe under scroll. There's scroll tube. I keep cooking. Scroll tube. So we're just going to use this because I'm too lazy to find anything else. And then we also, so it's magic, it's not identified, and so we can put the spell in here. Let me show you what that is. So we want to get the secure spell that it mentions. We want to put that in there. Do that. No, that's because that silver tube is not a plastic container. So what I need to do is I'm going to put a generic container in there. Oh no, we'll use this. Yes. Now this should go in there. There you go. And we can change the value of this to what it was charging, 300. Scroll. And we'll leave it at that. So when they get it, they get both. If you don't want them to know what the spell is, you'll also have to mark it unidentified and magic. Alright, so I think that's everything. Okay, yeah, that's it. Let's do items. And again, when we get done, I'll bulk select all these guys and hide them like that. So the players won't see it. You'll read the description. If this was a fully detailed map, there would be 3 of them in the room already, but there's not, so I don't want that one showing. But once they find it, you can right click and reveal it, and then they can double click on it and loot it. They all just see, these things that aren't identified, they'll show up as gem and scroll. They won't know what they are though. Yeah. So we got 4 ogres. So we need to make sure we're using probably pretty much the same no matter what. I'm so scatterbrained. Okay, there it is. Images, tokens. We'll do this guy. Set this guy to the same so I don't come back later and have to mess with it. And first edition ogres, I'm going to double check what their stats are. So damage by weapon 1 to 10. That's really it. So let's see. So they do have a club on them. I'm not sure I would use that because that's going to use strength. But yeah, we'll leave this. If they punch them, they club them. We'll be happy with it for now. These guys aren't going to be as big as the giants. What does this say? Southeastern area. Oh. Because I don't think. Southeastern end of the place. Oh man. Here? And then each ogre has 1d4 and 1d4 gems. So I guess I gotta put coins on these suckers. Going to randomly determine how much they have. They got their coins, and now they want how many gems? I should have done the gems at the same time. All gems. Guy's gonna get 400. This guy is gonna get a 300. Should be it. Let's get rid of this. And what is an 8? Ogres. Yeah, so what do these guys have on them? Twelve ogres here. Our 5 chests, 12 sacks, 2 blacks. Chest number 2 contains in your collection, and number 4. No matter how I want this, because this is kind of not very. So what do they say about our ogres? Do they get stuff, loot too? It doesn't say. As it doesn't say the ogres carry anything. So we're just going to put 12 ogres in here. I'm guessing they're sleeping all over the place. Kind of looks like I could sleep around it. Now I got to worry about all this stuff. I'll need 2 chests. Because they may not find everything. So, chest 1. This is number 2. Okay, and then another chest number 4. Something else. Right now I'm going to stick these in the wall so I can see them. And then a sack. It's going to be... and a barrel. I think we can just say that the barrel contains the skulls. And if somebody wants to put it in their inventory, they can add them on their own. And then, is that really it? That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So now we need to put some loot in them. So chest number 2. Gear collection. Oh, we don't need that. Again, stuff like that, players can just add that stuff in there and you can tell them what they are because it doesn't even list them here. I'm only going to put things in these that players are probably going to take. So number 4, they want currency. Copper. What else? Copper, silver, electrum, gold, of course. No platinum. Copper is... silver is... That's not 1100, that's 2011. Yeah, 792 electrum. And what was the last one? 5,300 gold. And so that's all that one. The sack. Six pieces of jewelry. Each worth 1 to 600. What are those? Oh, what? What did I do? I clicked the wrong button. I must have done set it to buy. There we are. That's what it was. And then 600. 8 pieces of... Oh my goodness. This really makes me tempted to just throw in 1 piece of jewelry worth the entire value, but... So now we've got to do... pieces, 2 to 800. So 4 of them are that. 2 of them are 600. 2 of them are 8. There we go. All right. That covers all of that. So you can spread these around the room if you want. And again, we're going to hide all that stuff later. I think, you know what? I think that's good. Let me see if there's any kind of casters that we can do before I call it a night. I don't remember there being any in this section. What would really be neat. I think they're all just going to be giants. I don't think we have any casters. No ogre magi. Yeah, that's. I wanted to kind of show. I'll do casters, but I guess that's not going to be tonight. By the time we get to G3, we will definitely have fought some casters, and then if I continue on with D1, 2, and 3, that'll be full of them because of all the dark elves. And those guys have a ton of stuff. But we'll worry about that when we get there. But so the piece that I was going to show is under this new tab, right under descriptions, build tools. You can, if you want them to memorize some spells, you can, actually, let me just get an actor. It doesn't matter who. We'll give a cave bear some stuff just so you can see what I'm doing. So this guy, he doesn't have any spells. In fact, he doesn't even have the spellcaster tab because he doesn't have any. So what we're going to do is we're going to give him shield and light. I'm also, oops, I'm sorry, I messed up. Shield and light. And then we'll do bless, cure, light, wounds. So you may be wondering, why would you do this? Because there's a lot of NPCs from modules that'll just list out their spells, comma separated. And so what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to copy that section and just paste them here and pretend this guy's a shaman or something. And then you just hit add memorize spells and you can see they all popped up. Now we have a spellcaster tab. You go here. He's got the spells. If you go to his details now, you can see that he also has 2 first level arcane spells and 2 first level divine spells because you wanted them memorized. He's got to have the slots to memorize, so we put the slots there. So he can cast them. The other thing that we can do is, so there's certain guys that get spells that are an action, say like the ogre or magi. He gets to cast Cone of Cold. So what I'm doing here is what this section does is it takes a spell and then it puts it on the actor as if it's an action. And I'll show you why we'd want to do that. Generally, if you got a guy that's going to cast a spell once a day, use the spell. And I say that because these spells, when you memorize spells, and that these things are not in the creature's inventory. So if you go through and later on you fix the spell shield in your world or in your compendium that you put here, it'll also be corrected here. Actions, the way I'm about to do it, this right here won't. The action will be on this guy, and the only way to fix it would be to come in and edit this guy directly. It's the same thing with spells in general. So NPCs, I would absolutely not put spells on them unless you just have a need for it. Like if you want your players to be able to loot them off of them or something. But that's just me. So anyways, so what I've done is this is an arcane spell. So if we go to our spells here, my item browser, I'm going to go to spells. I'm going to go to player's handbook. This is my stuff. This isn't the object compendium, but it works exactly the same. I just use the TUI stuff for my games. So what we want is cone. We're looking for cone. So yeah, now we can look at that spell. You can see all that. So what we're going to do is all of this right here, all of these actions. Actually it's locked, so I can't pop it open, but all the actions that are in here will be put on this guy. And it's also an arcane type. So what we need to do, we need to know the type of spell, because arcane is wizards, divine is priests. You can also have your own custom ones. And I'll kind of give you a reason why you want to do that later. But right now, this is how that works. You do that. And now when we go to his actions, boom, he's got Cone of Cold. And when he clicks it, he gets all the stuff that is in the spell. But in this case, we're like, hey, this guy can do this 3 times a day. So we go to the cast and we set this to charged. We set it to reuse daily and we say 3. So now he can Cone of Cold 3 times a day. And then if he ever rests, which more than likely that won't happen, but if he rests, those would be reset. Same thing with spell memorization. So that is cool. The other thing I was going to show you is a custom item that, let's just create a spell. Now let's call this acid breath. I mean, it could be whatever you want, but this is just kind of an example. And I'm going to call it a spell and just stick it out here. And we're going to change this icon so it looks cool. Magic, go to acid, we'll go to, that looks like a breath. All right, so we got the icon set, and the reason we set the icon is so when the action is put on the actor, it'll use that icon. So now what we need to do is add actions for that spell. Just like if you're creating a normal spell, or just imagine though that you're doing this for acid breath, like a dragon breath, or it could be anything. I mean, this is exactly the way spells work. So open this up, we'll look at the cast. We want this guy to be able to cast it, breathe 3 times a day. It resets daily. He can do it 3 times a day. He saves versus breath. And if they do save, they take half damage. So we've got that piece set. We've got the cast part set. Now we need to set the damage. So however you want to do the formula is up to you. I'm just going to say a 66 damage, and we'll say it's acid. So now we have a spell that basically is acid breath. And what we can do now is we can reference it. Like if this wasn't a bear, say this was some kind of creature that had acid breath, we could, oh, also I forgot. We need to set a type. We don't want to call it arcane. We want to call it, I don't know. A good example for something like this would be dragon breath, or, I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but say you have a special ability that's on, say like Drow's abilities, like their darkness and dancing lights and that sort of thing. You could put all 3 of those actions on something like this, and then just call it Drow abilities. And then whenever you put the type in, you would put Drow abilities here. And so long as they match, and I'm going to copy and paste because I'm notorious fumble typer. And then the name of the thing, so like acid breath. And so what that did now is it put that action here. And so when we use it, it has all of the stuff that we set up. And so and I use some really weird examples, but this could be these spells that you're importing as actions can be anything. So if you have a lot of NPCs that have the same type of actions and you don't want to drag and drop them around each other, you could just put them all in one thing, and then you can have, copy paste the string that, you put them in here,